In this video, I'm going to find out if I can make it from Yuki all the way to Brunswick Heads on the dirt through 3 national parks and several gates. Stick around, this is going to be a good one. Hi there and welcome to another Adventure Bikes Australia video. My name is Ben and I am not an expert motorcycle mechanic or motorcycle rider in any way whatsoever. It is a beautiful day here in northern New South Wales. I'm actually based in southeast Queensland, Gold Coast, and we often have to duck across the border here into northern New South Wales because that's how we're allowed into national parks and stuff like that, because all the southeast Queensland ones, they're all closed. We're not allowed in. Only takes a few bad apples to spoil the lot. That's unfortunate, but that's just the situation that we're in. So it's a beautiful Saturday, absolutely cracking day. And my mission here today is to go from the lovely little country New South Wales town of Yuki, to... Oh, it's over already. Over already. Shit. Okay, well that was a very short start to the day. I've just made it maybe 2 kilometers out of Yuki and was just about to head off the road onto the dirt road, and she's gated, locked up tight, padlocked shut. Absolutely no good at all. So I'm going to show you where I wanted to go and you'll see why I'm disappointed. So I thought I was going to get through here. On Gaia, that's a road, but it very clearly does not look like a road. So I'm out of luck. I have to go find another way around. Alright, so I'm going to have to go back to Gaia and plot another route. You can see that my route here, I'm down here at the head of the dam. I was going to head around here to my right hand side, be the left hand side of the dam I suppose, depending on the direction I'm facing. And I was going to hook back up onto the road down here at the bottom of the dam, follow the road down, and the plan was to head up here to Mount Jerusalem, to try and get a nice view up there. Clearly that is not what's going to be happening. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back towards Yuki, get back on that main road, Route 32. I'm going to follow that down here, take a right. Nope, I'm going to follow that down, take a left. And then I'm going to take another left, and that should get me back onto my green trail here. And hopefully I'll be able to follow that through down. There should be a right-hand turn up to Mount Jerusalem National Park. And we'll go have a bit of a check out, see what that looks like. So that is my new plan. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're back onto Kyogle Road. It's not a gravel road, it's definitely not where I want it to be, but it's still a great ride if you want to head out on this way. Bitumen's pretty good, some nice corners, still a good day out. Bob and Susan are even having a lovely time out here in their caravan. Ooh, old Falcon wagon. They don't build them like that anymore. Alright, looks like my left turn's coming up here shortly. This it? Got a private driveway over there. Ooh. Keep your eyes on the road. Oh, yep, okay. That is the turn off. Okay, gates open. I like this. Uh-oh, garbage bins. Could be private property. I don't think it is though, because it does go all the way down to the campgrounds at the lake down there. Tyre pressures are a bit high, it's quite skatey. It's okay, I don't really like going that fast anyway. Might not have been where I wanted to go, but this is not a bad place to end up. Private property, no access to dam. Keep out, trespassers will be prosecuted. Well, bugger. Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna go park in the shade and play with the map again. Oh yeah, she's padlocked. They definitely don't want anybody in there. Alright, so here's the problem. I've pulled up here in the shade and this road is actually a dead end. I thought, what? That's not what the map said before, but turns out I'm a little bit dense because that was the wrong left. I'm looking for Doon Doon Road. I'm going to go left down Doon Doon Road. So let's head back and see if we can head down Doon Doon Road. Looks like they're putting in another big gate over there. Serious bit of gear. The rear tyre's trying to break loose a little bit. Not a huge fan of that. But like I said, I've got highway pressures in my tyres today. Basically because I figured I was going to end up doing more tar than dirt anyway. Because that's the problem with heading out on these little adventures that I like to try and do. Never quite sure which forest we're actually going to be able to get into or not, and more often than not end up on some bitumen. Beautiful bitumen, don't get me wrong, but not what we're aiming for. Alright, so my left should be just on the other side of this bend. No, dummy. Next left. Doon Doon Road. We nearly missed it. What have we got there? Ponies. Shetlands, maybe. There's some big ones. What is this? Nicely done, sir. Start to see my old route on the Gaia map coming up here. So there'll be a right-hand turn coming up, and that should put me back on my original route. And then we cross fingers for Mount Jerusalem. Starting to feel a little skeptical about my odds. That was my right-hand turn. was another right-hand turn. No, actually, no. I'm right. I'm good. Because Gaia's doing this thing where it's rotating me, not rotating the map. Let's see if we can fix that. There we go, that's better. Oh, cute little creek. Wow, pretty bit of farmland. Alright, what's happening here? We're going back to one lane. Alright, here we go. We're out in the countryside now. Oh, bit of gravel. And back to bitumen. Oh wow. Imagine doing that up, that'd be sweet. Oh, back to gravel. What's happening here? Where are you going? Road? A little bit to the right. We're going to be on gravel for a little bit. God, that's a spectacular piece of valley. Wow. Alright, where are we going here? Don't want McCabes Rd, we want to stay on Doon. Look out! Private property, we're not going that way. This looks very private property in every direction here too. Because I missed a turn. Too much fun standing up and not enough looking at the GPS. Oh dear. Oh dear. Private property, keep out. No access to National Park. Bummer. Okay, so this all says private property, keep out. Automated gate, keep clear. Talk about giving me mixed messages. It says private property, video surveillance, no access to National Park, but then it also says please respect farm biosecurity, do not enter paddocks. Alright, so Doon Road is a no-go. How am I going to get round here? I have to go back to Route 32, all the way back out to there. Got no through roads down here. I'm going to have to follow Route 32 all the way around. Bloody March flies. All the way around. Oh, that'll bring me into Nimbin. Okay. And then from Nimbin down to the Channon. Can I get through from the Channon? No. Nightcap National Park. No. I have to end up all the way down the bottom there and try and get back into Nightcap National Park down there. Bummer. Right, Mount Jerusalem National Park, that would be up there. Alright, so we're going to have to go back up Doon Doon, all the way back up Doon Doon, till we get back to Route 32. We're going to have to take a left down through Mount Burrell, left on Route 32 all the way down into Nimbin, and then a left out of Nimbin across and down to the Channon, and then where are we going to go? Further through the Channon, up around the... Whoa, blowfly in the helmet. Get out. Get out. Bugger off. Bloody March flies. Do not want to be bitten on the face. Alright, down to the Channon, back up that way. Might be able to hook up back up onto my green route there. And take a left up there, see if we can sneak through from the other end. That's the plan. Alright. Actually, for fun, let's go check out McCabes Rd. I do believe that's Bob and Susan that I saw earlier. This looks very private property from here. Private property. Okay, that's the end of McCabes Rd. Beautiful little camping spot down by the river down there. Won't be doing any swimming in there though. And let's face it, this is Australia. If you're not swimming, are you even camping? Alright, so we're back down to the end of McCabes Rd. Doon Doon. Alright, back on Doon Doon. Okay. This says Costello Rd. Let's go have a look. That's one of the beautiful things about the KLR. It's a real, let's go have a look bike. I think I'm going straight up to somebody's house. Although the map does say it turns and goes around. According to this, we're still going. Okay. Interesting. This has almost got to be the end of this. Okay, no, we're turning off the road there into that house. Okay, alright, let's check this out. Ooh! Front just tried to wash out on me. These highway pressures are catching up on me. What we got there? Private property down there. Road keeps going through here. Beautiful little cottage. Okay, map says keep going. What's this, Mr. Miracle? Okay, map still says it's public road. Gates open. That's interesting. Which way is the road? Ooh, slipping and sliding all over the shop. It would have almost been the end of the road anyway. Okay, this is the road to somebody's house, but according to the map, we were going to run out of road shortly anyway if we'd gone the other way. Wow! Imagine having a house at the bottom of that. That is spectacular. Alright, well that's Costello Rd. Let's go back to the other plan of following Doon Doon back up to the main road. This gravel's a bit larger than what I was on before, and the highway pressured tyres, despite being knobbies, they don't seem to really be enjoying this today, and it's making me nervous. Oh, beautiful little creek. Come on, back on my side. I think the big girl just tried to do a jump back there. She wants to fly. Ooh, dirty Mercedes. Alright, and we're about to go back onto Doon Doon. Alright, so according to my reroute plans, we are now following Route 31. No, Route 32, which is now called Nimbin Road, according to the sign. And I have not been to Nimbin in a very, very long time. Look, I'm not going to lie, it is some place I did go a couple of times when I was a bit younger, but have not been there in quite a while. So we're actually going to pass through the middle of Nimbin before we can try and maybe get back on that green loop that I had planned and possibly double back towards Mount Jerusalem. That was still the goal. We were so close, and we'll see if we can possibly get back there another way. Hopefully. Alright folks, I've made it as far as Nimbin now. The Nimbin pub's up here behind me. Very cool place to come check out. Just having a rest in the park in the middle of town here. Quick bite to eat and a drink of water. Got to do all that good stuff on a day's ride. And have had a bit of a play with Gaia, and I've plotted another route which I think will intercept my original green route. And then I should be able to hook a left up back into the foresty type areas, and maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, double back up to Mount Jerusalem. If all that fails, instead of taking a left and heading back up towards Mount Jerusalem, I'll take the right-hand turn instead and back onto the original green route for the final leg back to the coast. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Alright, so I'm now doubled back along the green route, trying to make my way back up to Mount Jerusalem, seeing if I can get in there, or if we're going to find another closed road. And in a complete boneheaded move, I did not have the audio recorder running when I left Nimbin, and had not secured the camera, so I don't know how much of that leg of the journey you're going to get, but I went out through Shannon, another place started with D, and then Dorraby, and it was just stunning, absolutely stunning. Beautiful big forests leaning out over the road. It was all bitumen, but it was nice and windy. Quite a few potholed areas, but nothing too bad. And now, as I said, I'm trying to loop back and make my way back to Mount Jerusalem. Oh, that front wheel feels fucking dodgy as. Definitely gonna have to take it nice and slow. Tire pressures are just too high. But this is, without a doubt, beautiful. Fox Road is the name of this road for those playing along at home. Bob's bus stop. Okay. Baldwin's Road now. This might be where we're going to run out of luck, I think. Please park on one side of the road only for bus access. Who's parking on this road? Oh, we're a bit squirrely. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Might be a way around, because I've got all these things over the driveway, which made me think this way was the road, but according to Gaia, this way is just a dog track, and is in fact not the road. Oh, I spoke too soon. There's someone pulled over, parked on the road. According to Gaia, there's going to be a hard right here. There is most definitely not a hard right here. Wait a minute. Authorised vehicles only. Motorbikes prohibited. Bummer. Definitely not a right-hand turn there. Okay, well that's that. This is a dead end as well. This is Baldwin's Road Management Trail, and unfortunately, while there is a cut around, you can see some naughty four-wheel drivers have been going around anyway. It does say motorcycles prohibited, and I'm really not one to go in places where we're not welcome, because then that just ruins it for everybody else and proves the case on why they should not allow motorcycles in these areas. So I always try and avoid doing that. Anyway, we're going to hit back down this track. We're going to get back onto the bitumen, going to head across to Mullumbimby and then to Brunswick Heads, and I think it might be beer o'clock. All right, there you have it, folks. As you can see, I've made it to the beautiful Brunswick Head Beach, and I'm hanging for a swim, but not before I have a very responsible zero alcohol beer. I gotta tell you, it's gonna be well deserved. Oh, that is good stuff. Good stuff. So today started out with a great plan. Yuki to Brunswick Heads on the dirt. Got a little bit of dirt, not a whole lot, but it was a bit sad and a bit disappointing to see so many of the forests closed, but I understand too many morons have mapped it up for the rest of us, and now we can't get in there. Disappointing, but understandable. Anyway, what off-road I did, the KLR was fantastic on, and if you'd like to know more about it, I've got a video on my top off-road mods that just transformed my KLR, so make sure you check that out. And I'm going for a swim.